My guy,
What's going on?
how are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good.
This guy goes by CB, Chris Breezy, Chris Brown. Bro, how is that all right, man? Yeah, yes, I'm Chris Brown. Or is it like, okay, it's enough? Or
I mean,
or
it's
do you
something that
embrace
I
it?
live with
Yeah.
on a day-to-day basis. I get the jokes at the grocery store, anywhere that they got to see my ID,
Yeah.
anything like that. They're gonna look at it and then look at me again, and then I'll look at the ID, and it's like, yeah, that's right.
That's me.
Yeah, that's why when I make reservations places, I do it in my wife's name.
Really?
I don't use my name.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, give us an introduction. Who are you? What do you do? How did you get here?
Right.
And let's start there.
Well, as you mentioned, Chris Brown. I've been out here in Las Vegas since 2019. I moved here from Orlando, Florida, where I was working in the sports world. I worked in professional as well as college athletics, and then things didn't go the way I wanted after 3.5 years out there. Had some changes, had to make a transition, and I had a buddy out here in Las Vegas at the time, and he was like, hey, I know you're in the middle of a transition. You got a couple things going on. You don't really know where you're going to do next. If you want, you can move to Vegas. You can sleep on my couch, and it's good. Pride, ego, all that good stuff.
Yep.
I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to figure it out on my own. 2 weeks goes by. Wasn't really figuring out that next move because I wasn't where I wanted to be. So I ended up calling my boy back and was like, hey, you still got that couch?
Yeah, it's still open.
He said yes, moved out here in 2019 and got right into real estate. I moved out here in May. I was licensed by June. So by the time I got out here, I was already studying and preparing myself for the test. So when I first got to Vegas, I was going to UNLV day in and day out, going to the library, writing on the drawing boards, trying to study everything I could about real estate because I wasn't really 100% on getting back into sports. Kind of thought it was an opportunity for me to pursue real estate, which is what I wanted to do for so many years. We're working in college and pro sports. You don't really have a life. It's a lot of hours that you're putting in, and doing something on the side just doesn't always work out because you don't have the time. So I knew that, okay, now this is a fresh start out here in Las Vegas. Want to get in real estate, have the opportunity to do it. So I went and got licensed and jumped around at a couple different brokerages, but I've been at Simply Vegas for the past like 2.5 going on 3 years now.
Okay. So talk to me a little bit about, let's talk about the sports stuff.
Yeah.
How was that in Florida, right? How was that? Like, what was your role? What did you do? What was like a day in the life of you?
Yeah, so Florida was just where I recently was, but I started in the Bay Area because I went to grad school out there, and I got my graduate degree in sport management from the University of San Francisco. I'm a California kid, and I moved up there for college. And then I ended up taking a job in Florida, and that's how I ended up out in Florida. I took a job out there, took a pay cut. In the Bay Area, I was making $50,000, which in college, that was solid.
Heck yeah.
And then when I took the job in Florida, I was making 30. So I took $20,000 pay cut just to take that opportunity to sharpen my skill set and move out there. So I was doing a lot of operations and management, event management, and things like that. And I was doing that at University of Central Florida in Orlando. So I was doing operations and event management, did that for 3 years. And I had an opportunity where there was a professional football league that was starting up. It was brand new. They had really big names behind it, pro NFL guys that were putting money into it. So it felt like something that had legs. And the stadium operations position was open. And I had the opportunity while I was still working at Central Florida to meet the president of the Orlando organization.
Sweet.
So we did a walkthrough because they were going to be playing their home games at Central Florida. During the walkthrough, he was like, I kind of like this guy. And he pitched the idea, like, how about you come work for me? And then we started talking the numbers, and he offered me the 50 that I had gave up in California. So I was like, this might not be a bad opportunity. I've been out here hustling and grinding for 30
Not as
grand.
expensive too. And
Right.
Okay.
I'm over here hustling and grinding for 30 grand, and he's offering me 50. It was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I talked to my mentor, and he was like, you have to take that job. So I took it, and things were great. I took a role as director of stadium operations and revenue generation. So I was a little bit on the fundraising side too. So bringing in money, talking to donors and different things like that. I worked on those aspects as well as operating everything from a game day standpoint. So referees, coaches, players, everybody reported to me. without me, there was no game.
Damn.
I had help, of course, but I was the one who was making a lot of the decisions and putting people in the right places. So when the refs got on site, they reported to me. I got them in the locker room. When the team buses showed up, I made sure they were escorted to their various locker rooms. So literally every part of game day management and getting the field ready or getting the stadium ready, concessions, everybody, I was leading those meetings, telling people, okay, this is what time gates are going to open. This is what time lots are going to open. So I literally controlled the entire space of the pro football side that I was working on. And it was great. I had a downtown office. We were on like the 20th floor, had a nice view of downtown Orlando. I was solid. It was good. 5 months goes by. I'm working in the office, working on for our next game, and I get this is when it was still Twitter, not X, but when it was Twitter, I got a message, and it was from Dan Rappaport. I forgot his name.
Yeah, Dan Rappaport. Yeah. The celebrity or the...
Yeah, he works in the sports world, but he does a lot of breaking news. Mm-hmm. But he posted a tweet. And the tweet was, Alliance of American Football suspends operations immediately. And that was the tweet. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like at work. I'm at work right now. What do you mean suspends operations? Because this didn't come from like management or my supervisor or anything like that. This literally came from Twitter. And we're all at work working for the game that was on Saturday. And this was like Wednesday. So we all see that tweet, and everyone comes out their office and comes into the community area, and everyone's looking around like,
what the hell?
What was that? And then the president came out, and he was like, yo, I have no idea what's going on, but this is real. And pack up your stuff, go home.
Just like that?
Yep. And then we had another meeting after that where we got an email, and it was an email that we have never received from before while we were working for the organization, and it was like team@aaf.com. We were like, okay, who is this? And it was basically confirming like everything is suspended, operations are done, turn in your laptops, turn in your computers, turn everything in. We're sorry. We'll be in touch about any type of severance or anything like that. So we didn't get a severance.
Thanks.
So they came back and they were in touch, but we didn't get anything. And that really started that downward roller coaster where I said I was in that transition and trying to figure out what was next. Yeah. That is what happened. Like I was literally at work and I saw on Twitter that I got fired.
Damn.
So I had to really figure out what was next. I'm grateful. I had a mentor out there, and the one who told me to take the job, he felt really like upset for me because you know, he gave good recommendations on it and thought it was a good opportunity. And then when it went away, you know, he was at the time at the athletic level, he was number 2 in charge at the University of Central Florida. So he had a little power or whatever, and was doing pretty well for himself and his family. And they were gracious enough to let me come live with them at their home during that transition, because not only did the job go away, my apartment lease was up in a week. So I had that on top. So it was really like a fire up under me at that moment.
Yeah.
And once I knew that I had to relocate and figure out what was next, you know, I'm all the way in Florida. All my family and friends is on the West Coast because I moved there not knowing anybody. I just wanted a fresh start and wanted to like really grind for that opportunity that I thought was out there. And when my mentor let me stay at his house, you know, it was him and his 4 kids, his wife. They had an extra room in the back. And I remember days where I would literally just be studying real estate. Studying. I said, when I get to Vegas or when I get to wherever that next position is, this is what I'm doing. And I studied and I came out here and took the test and I passed it on the first try. And I've been here since 2019.
Damn. So that's a lot, man. So you packed up from Florida to Vegas in 19. How did you, so what was like your first year like? Because did you know anybody in Vegas besides your friend?
I had an uncle out here in Vegas, but we weren't really like in contact very much. I had my best friend out here who, like I said, the couch situation. V, if you see this, I'll always tell you thank you for that, brother. Appreciate it. But stayed at his house, and then once I got out here, I didn't really know anybody, and I was brand new to real estate, so didn't really, you know, the first thing they tell you is, oh, talk to the people that know you already, talk to the people that are already in your market. And I'm like, I don't know anyone out here. So I kind of had to like really build from scratch, and in that time a lot of people don't know, or some people do, real estate is an investment. There's a lot of overhead when you first get into the business before you see a single dollar. So I came out here with the little bit of money that I had, and I started putting all that money into real estate, but I wasn't really seeing anything behind it because I also thought, why not get a job so I can help pay for all of this stuff?
Of course.
So I ended up getting a job at UNLV, and I was an event coordinator for the student union.
Okay.
So any event that came on campus, I was the event coordinator that coordinated from presidential debates to different organizations on campus, the president's meetings, or anything like that. I was coordinating that at UNLV. And I started to see a struggle in my real estate business because I knew I came out here for that. UNLV was supposed to be a supplement, and I was relying on it so heavily. I saw that I wasn't really getting the business that I wanted because I'm at UNLV, you know, 8 to 5, 8 to 6. And that's not a good schedule if you're trying to show clients homes, get in touch with clients. Like after 6 o'clock, people are ready to end their day, not start it.
Yeah.
So I made it up in my mind. I said, you know what? January 1st, 2023, that is the day I did it. I said, I'm quitting UNLV. I don't care where my business is. I don't care where I'm at in life. That's going to happen. And I put it on my calendar. And as the clock started ticking and getting me closer and closer to that day came, and I had an email already drafted, and I just hit send.
Damn.
I'm gone.
See you later.
And I've been doing real estate full time since.
Man, so what are like 3 things or some tips to those individuals that currently do have part-time jobs or full-time jobs, and but they want to get into real estate full-time? What are some quick tips that you can give them, like, hey, you do this, do that, or what went through your head that can potentially help them?
I feel like you gotta not look at the glitz and the glam that you see on like Netflix and all these shows and different things like that. Like a lot of that's not real in real estate. I think what you need to focus on is putting yourself in a position to where you can be the best version of yourself to help and serve your clients. And quitting your job because of what you see is the worst idea that you can have. Because again, real estate, when you're first getting in, there's a lot of overhead that you're paying for. You're paying for your licensing, you're paying for all your marketing materials, you're paying brokerage fees, you're paying splits if you're on a team. So you got a lot going out and not that much coming in when you first get into real estate. So you really have to make sure that when you're trying to grow with a job, keep that job until you no longer need that job. And what I did was a very, very bold risk. And in life, you got to make a couple of those. But not everyone is in a position to do what I did. I was single, didn't have a family, didn't have a wife, didn't have a kid. So I'm literally only relying on what decision I make because it only affects me. Some people don't have that luxury because they have a wife, they have kids, and any mistake or change in life that they make, it affects those people in their life. So I know that when I was in that position, I made that bold risk because it was all on me. And if I failed, it was all on me. So a tip for people, like I said, is make sure that you use that job for what you need. Like before I did quit UNLV, I ended up buying my first house because of the money that I made in the 401k that I had at UNLV. I used it for what I needed it.
That's awesome.
So I bought my first house, and that was how I actually got off my best friend's couch, is I had ended up buying my own house.
That's awesome.
So once I came to Vegas. And then also too, when you have a job, see what's the best work schedule for that. If you are on a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, what are you doing in the after hours when you're not on the clock, and what are you doing in the weekends? You got to maximize that time, because I've had teams that I've worked on where there was an agent who had a full-time job and they only had Saturday and Sunday. And I said, okay, well, what are you doing on Saturday and Sunday? You need to be open house, door knocking, cold calling, like as many hours as you can. There is no fun time on Saturdays and Sunday when you don't have Monday through Friday. So just being able to utilize your time the best, and also being able to understand and study. Because if you don't have as much time to physically be in front of clients, you should know the business and the market like the back of your hand. Because once you develop more time, you're going to be able to invest that into your clients more with your knowledge.
So it is doable. It is, you can do it. It's just going to take a lot of work. It's not like, hey, I'll do it here once in a great while, or I'll study the market on, Sunday for 20 minutes. No, it's like, you got to be in this, because the goal is to, like you said, the goal is to eventually leave that other job and, you know, get into real estate. So now let's fast forward. You're doing well. I want to talk something that's kind of important. Well, it's very important in people's businesses. So you and I both use social media to generate business, to brand ourselves, to create a reputation for ourselves. How has that, a couple questions, how has that grown your business? And what do you tell people that say, I don't need social media to grow my business, or I don't need social media to generate leads? What are some advice that you can give the masses?
So I've used social media to the level that I use it now for like almost 4 years now. And I give a testament to like the success of my business 100% to social media, because I knew that in real estate, I can choose to cold call, I could choose to door knock, I could choose to do open houses, I can choose to do networking events. There's a whole bunch of different ways to generate leads. But what was a way that I can generate leads from people that don't even know me, that I don't have to be in front of, and that could just scroll past a video? And I was like, social media, it's an easy, no-brainer way to get in front of clients. And, you know, putting yourself on camera is another opportunity to get those nerves out, so where you can have conversations in front of clients when it's actually business conversations taking place. Social media helped me put out videos that circulated on the internet, and while I'm asleep, I don't know who's watching it and where they're watching it from. And that's how I've been able to grow my business, through social media. I started off a lot on TikTok, but I don't use TikTok as heavily anymore. I'm right now strategizing on how to really put out more content on TikTok, because I slowed down on that. But I've been focused more on Instagram and YouTube.
Okay.
Those have been the two areas that I've been on, because I saw that short form content keeps short attention. Long form content keeps long attention. And a lot of people in the business that I'm trying to be around are people that are a little bit older. In the older generation, they spend a lot of their time watching YouTube as their form of television. They don't really watch TV anymore. So if I look at like my YouTube analytics, a lot of it is people watching on a TV versus like their phone or anything like that. So utilizing the strategies from the short form that I learned and transitioning that into long form has been able to put me in front of people that I would have never been in front of. Some of my biggest deals came from social media. And the way I was able to grow that transaction and that relationship is just staying top of mind. If I make a video, it's not for everybody. There's this particular person that I'm talking to in that video. They know it. I know it, but not the people who I'm not talking to. Like if I show a $10 million house, I'm talking to a certain kind of client.
100%.
And if I show a $500,000 house, I'm talking to another client. And you have to be very strategic on who the audience is when you're on Instagram or even YouTube, because you want to make sure that you're putting out the content for the client that you want to work with.
Man. So would you say that, so here's my thought process, and you can have a different opinion or you can agree. For me, I use social media. I use Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I make that as part of my business. So some people say I don't have time to do social media. Well, you can also say that about, I don't have time to do open houses. I don't have time to make cold calls. I don't have time to call my past database. Would you say you need to stop making excuses and just make it a part of your business, right? Because if you make it a part of your business, then you can't miss it. If it's in your calendar, you're going to do it. So give people, how has being active on social media increased your business? Like when you first started to like now, like the results. And so that I want to do that because I want people to know that it is possible, right? You can make money off of social media as a real estate agent or as a mortgage broker, right? What has that, I know that it's grown your business, but talk about like a monetary value. Like what does that look like?
So with social media, as you mentioned, like, yeah, you can make money, and that's like side money that you can make, you know, a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there, depending on the growth or the level of your channel. But all that money that I make, I just put it right back into business. It's money I never touch.
Yep.
So anything that I profit from social media, if I get a brand deal, I've had deals where I've had brands reach out and they want their product in one of my videos, and you know, of course there's a fee that is associated with that. So there's other opportunities that you can get from social media, and I think a lot of people fail to realize the notion of I don't have time. Like, social media is a part of my business, and if I want it to grow, I gotta water it. You know, and I use that as a way to just continue hammering down how can I just continue to get better, because you're going to grow, you're going to evolve, you're going to change, and your social media has to grow and evolve and change with you, especially when there's new trends, there's new ways of getting across to different people on different platforms. Like, I have, for me, example, on Sundays, that's the day where I record 10 to 15 different videos, so I'm set for, you know, the next week or two.
Yeah.
Because if you don't make the time to do that, you're going to be going day by day, and you're going to be asking yourself, what should I post today? What should I post tomorrow? But if you've already made all those videos, you understand exactly what you're going to post. And I think a lot of what goes into the success of social media is, it sounds so cliche, it sounds so dumb, consistency.
Yeah.
it's that's literally the game.
Yep.
If you can build consistency on social media where you're doing it at a high level on a regular basis, it's not going to feel as daunting as it would if you do it once every couple weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're not building that muscle memory or building and training your mind on how to do things. Like, a lot of people ask me, oh, Chris, how long does it take you to edit a video? I edit a video in like 10 minutes. It's not that complicated.
Yeah.
It's cuts, it's deletes, it's add some music, it's get it on beat. There's things that I've learned from when I did my first video to where I'm doing a video now. You just cut off a lot of the learning curve.
Yep.
And once you build that consistency, not just in filming, you gotta actually post it now. Like, there's levels to it, because people will have videos on their phone that will never reach it to social media, and they don't even know how many leads that video could have potentially done. And that's what I do, especially like if I have a new listing, I'm always trying to do something cool, funny, and a unique way to introduce the listing to the market. And if you look at my channel, you see my most recent listings, I've always tried to be different on how I've introduced them to, you know, the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk to me really quick on what's that thought process like for you? And do you have somebody that you kind of bounce ideas off of? Is it your wife? Because I know you and your wife are heavy on content. Is she kind of like, hey babe, what do you think about this idea for this listing? Is she like your co-creative director, or?
Oh yeah, she'd be mad if I didn't give her that credit. 100%.
That's kind of why I said. That's kind of why I said
100%.
Yeah.
My wife is the brains of the operation.
Yeah. I love that.
I'm the talent and she's the director.
Yeah.
There's days where we'll sit on the couch. You know, we might have some, you know, background music or something on, or the TV on, and we're literally just scrolling. But we're not scrolling because we're just bored out of boredom. We're scrolling for ideas and inspiration.
Not mindless scrolling.
Yeah, we're not doing mindless scrolling. We'll scroll for like an hour or 2 hours and literally just start saving videos.
Same.
And then what I'll do is I'll come back and I'll look at the videos and ask myself, and I'll ask my wife, how can I make this real estate related? Because there's so many different videos on the internet. There might be a different caption you might use. There might be a different hook you might use. There's always a way to convert a video to real estate. And that is where I get a lot of my ideas from, is I literally will just sit down and just scroll until, oh, I know how I could change that. Because clients ask me this type of question, and it's kind of funny because, you know, the aesthetics of it. I think I did a video for my most recent listing, I was literally in a suit, standing on the side of the road with a cardboard sign that said, I have a new listing.
That was good.
That video had over 30,000 views.
That's awesome.
And it was something so simple. But what did that video show my audience? It showed I'm a hard worker. I'm outside in a full suit in 115-degree weather trying to tell you about this listing.
Yep.
It also showed people that I have a new listing. It just, the more eyes that you bring on a listing, the easier it is going to be to sell. So that's why social media can help, because you're bringing more attention, especially on the listing side, to your audience of what you're trying to sell.
Yep. And that kind of adds to when people ask you like, hey, why should I hire you? Well, this is what I do different on top of, you know, prospecting the neighborhood or whatever a traditional realtor does. I also do XYZ, where you can get more eyes on your listing through social media, through videos, through the creative that you do. I love that, man. So
It's real.
Yeah.
It's real. And like one of my recent clients who I just got a listing from, he hired me to list his home instead of family members, instead of very close friends. And they were upset with him that he chose to go with me, but he saw the value in my marketing.
Yeah.
He saw the value in how much I'm going to put into selling his home, because that's a part of it right there, is like how much and how well am I at marketing. That's really how you sell a listing. Is like you got to be the best marketer out there.
100%.
And my client, he saw my YouTube. He actually found me on YouTube, and he went to my Instagram. He went to my other channels, and he was like, you know what? I want you to come by and take a look at my home, because I'm thinking about selling it. And when I went over there and I put everything out, I had a whole presentation for exactly what kind of marketing I do and why it works. And, you know, numbers don't lie.
Nope.
If you look at my social media, you can see that the numbers don't lie. So if I tell you this is how many people are looking at your home, the proof is there.
I love that, man. So what's next for you? The next six months of 2025, what do we got planned? What's going on?
I'm in the middle of a little rebrand to some degree.
Okay.
And
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stay tuned for that. I'm trying to do something a little different. Okay. And again, as I mentioned earlier in this podcast, you know, you got to continue to evolve, continue to get better, continue to do things a little differently. And I've been in a lot of brainstorm mode right now.
Okay.
And I got some ideas on things that I'm going to be doing and changing, but stay tuned. But there's some changes coming from CB.
I can't wait. So how can people find you? Let them know. Text, Instagram, email, all that good stuff. How do people get a hold of you?
If you want to check out anything on social media, it's cb.luxuryvegas. Okay. It's the same across any platform, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. It's cb.luxuryvegas. And if you want to reach out to me via email, it's chris@cbluxuryvegas.com.
Awesome. Text? No? Or that's good.
You can text me. And everything's on my website. You'll see it.
Awesome. Bro, thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing your knowledge, sharing your journey. It means a lot, man. Thank you.
I appreciate you for having me.
Yeah.